That's good. I will just say straight off the bat as well, I have not used generative AI in any of my work today. Thank you. I will also notice none of the previous acts did that. That's fine. So my name is Cordova, and I have a bachelor's degree in film studies and politics at the University of Liverpool. Any alumnus in from the University of Liverpool? It's alright, it's right. I wouldn't have recognised you anyway. I was too busy out pulling birds and stuff. Herringulls. I know what you're thinking, you know, what qualifies a man with a film degree to talk about, you know, the science of orgasms. But I do have another credential, my other credential. I'll let this baby speak for itself. Well, just move on to what we'll talk about today. So we're going to start with definitions, you know what I mean, definitions. We can't talk about something if we don't know what we're talking about, okay? And then we're going to move on to the different types of orgasm, because there's more than you think, So just very quickly, how many different types of orgasm do you think there are? Very good. You're in the right place for that. There's more than you think, What's your name, sir? Nigel, I'm sorry I picked on you. You don't strike me as a man with a lot of experience in all that. And then we'll move on to the sort of the physical and the neurological elements, responses to orgasm. We'll go on to stimulation and then evolution. We're sort of going to end with the beginning. And then, you know, if there's any time at the end, we can all practice what we've learned. We're going to move on. And the first thing we're going to define, pretty obvious, guys, pretty obvious. We're going to define orgasm. Okay, I need a volunteer. Not for like a dirty dog, no. Seriously, though, I do need someone to just sort of... I'm not stopping around now. Come on, just stand on stage for me. Yeah? Big hand for Nigel. Where are we real quick? Okay. Now, Nigel, I want you to think, I want you to imagine you're on a nice date. Right? Imagine you're on a nice date. Where would that nice date be? That nice date would be at Plymouth's premier Frankie and Betty's. Nice one by the View Cinema, not the one in town. It's nice. You with a nice lady or gent, or they them. Progressive. 2026 much. And it's going real well. You're having a nice time. You're talking about your favourite Robert Pattinson films. You're talking about your favourite Christian Bale films. When you're looking in this person's eyes, Michael, you're not seeing your date, you're seeing the future. It's going really well. And then, so, what are you ordering? You're in the barbecue chicken Saturday. 49, just over 1,000 calories. You get 10% broccoli on the table. It's a welcome table. Towards the end of the meal, your waiter Andrew comes over. There he is. Andrew presents you with the bill. And I just want you to close your eyes for a minute and I'll talk about some fish. Close your eyes. Just want you to imagine this. Andrew hands you the bill, but as he does, you feel this immense warmth on you. It starts on your neck and then it trickles. Trickles down your spine. Like it reaches the glutes and it comes around your hamstrings. Stick with me, man. Comes around your quads. It's releasing your groin and it's just all over your body and you feel this warmth. It's fucking nice, man. No, you're fine, man. You're fine. It's wet yourself. There's this warmth on you, and you realise, and you hear a little voice that says, "It's all right, Nigel. I've got this one." You realise it's God. God is talking to you, and that's what an orgasm is. It's a free Frankie and Benny. You can sit down now. There's many different types of orgasm, okay? There's your bog standard one that we've just discussed. But there's also an eargasm, right? We all know what an eargasm is. An eargasm most commonly brought on by listening to The Flood by Take That. There's also a nerdgasm. Do we have any Marvel fans in? Yeah, this is so at the back, this is like when all your little Marvel men, all your little Marvel boys, all your Funko Pops, they all come together and make fight. That's a Marvel gasm.
That Michael Jackson mate, I'm sorry, no.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. That's what a nerdgasm. I don't have them until I'm 26 years old, but you're all very welcome to. You're all very welcome to. The next one, cyborgasm. We're going to be seeing a lot more of these. Okay, AI coming in. It's just going to be robots just doing all the shit for you, to be honest. We're really going to automate in the future, and that's going to be really interesting to get along to. And then the last type is foodgasm. Classic foodgasm. We've all had a foodgasm. You remember that TSD from earlier? I'm not fucking around. Good stuff. Okay, so this is the bit I'm going to need a bit of help with. So, we obviously know about all the physical responses to an orgasm, right? You know, your pupils dilate, your heart rate doubles, your leg does this weird. What's going on up here? Hey, what's going on up here? Well, there was a study in 2012 by Dr. Barry Comizrak and Dr. Beverly Whipple. Are they in? Looked at the brain activity of a group of women during an orgasm. They did this using an fMRI machine, which stands for fancy MRI. What they discovered is that there are many different regions of the brain that are activated during an orgasm. So we'll just go through them now. Amygdala, hypothalamic paraventricular nucleus. Hippocampus, cerebellum, basal ganglia. Okay, that's cut off, but that says especially the Kusman. Especially. And the lower brainstem. People always think the upper brainstem, they could not be more. What was also activated was this thing called the vagus nerve, right? And I don't know if you can tell on the diagram, right? That goes right to the brain. In science, they call that the action zone. So the question that came, so what they discovered was they concluded that the vagus nerve provides a spinal cord bypass pathway for vaginal cervical sensibility. The activation of this pathway can produce analgesia and orgasm, 2 for 1. So the question then becomes, how do they activate that pathway? How do they activate the vagus nerve? And scientists actually came up with a way to optically stimulate the vagus nerve, and this is it. Okay. How else would we do it? Let's say this photo isn't lying around. There's many different types of stimulation for orgasm. There's prostate stimulation, penile stimulation, clitoral stimulation, prostate stimulation, vaginal stimulation, prostate stimulation. Sorry, my girlfriend was trying to finger me recently. My work. In their 2006 book, The Science of Orgasm, our mates from earlier, they came up with some pretty interesting ways to stimulate orgasm. They recorded test subjects jizzing from thinking. That's crazy. Anyone done that? Anyone having a go now? Stop it, Nigel. Apparently, patients with spinal injuries can they can come from ear play, which sounds insane. And patients smoking a fat difter, it's no worse than mine. It's very good. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the evolutionary aspects of orgasms. There's a bit of background. Just put your hands up if you've ever had an orgasm. Oh, fuck, sorry. No, wrong way around, shut up! Put your hand up if you've ever ejaculated. Okay, I'm seeing some hands. That's really great to meet you guys. I'll be honest, I remember mine very vividly. It was, 4 or 5 minutes ago. And so what's happened is, I don't know if this was the same for you guys who had your hands up, but when I ejaculated, I also orgasmed. Right, those two things were sort of in tandem, right? And what these guys, oh they're gone. What the book people were sort of thinking was, there's something going on here. What they sort of realised, what they thought about was, what were the monkeys up to back in the day? When we were all allegedly chimpanzees, there was this sort of drive to make, because back in the day, our priorities weren't as. Back in the day, we didn't have things like the chicken salad. Do you know what I mean? We were more focused on procreation, right? And that means, so by tying, coming, and ejaculating together, it sort of tricks the little monkey's brain into that was sensational. I want to do that again. Thank you. Just real quick. There was another book that she compared the Elizabeth Lloyd's 2005 book. She compared the female orgasm to male nipples, and in the sense that they are sort of redundant, not necessary for reproduction. I will just say this: even though it's a scientist saying that, if you tell your girlfriend that, she's going to be fucking fuming, man. Even though there's science to back it up. But interestingly, so these guys sort of read her book and said, well, that's bollocks, mate. And the sheer fact that female orgasm does exist and can happen is proof that is, sort of evolutionary necessary and that sort of thing. So women, you deserve it. unless I'm tired. What have we learned? I've learned something. It takes 10 minutes to make 100 new friends. That is about it. I will just say though, guys, thank you for having me. Next time you're having an orgasm, you think of me.